Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you can create this amazing cursor animation using JavaScript and Canvas. So without any further ado, let's get started. To get started, I have an empty index.html and empty JavaScript file. So we are gonna need a canvas, so let's create a canvas. And I'm going to give it an ID of canvas. Now let's link the JavaScript file. Okay, first let's target the canvas here, so we can say const canvas equals to document.getElementById, document.getElementById, and our canvas had ID of canvas. So just so that we can see the canvas, let's give this canvas a black background, so we can say canvas.style.background equals to black. Now let's open this up with live server, and as you can see, we can see a small canvas. Let's give it some height and width, so we're going to say canvas.style.height. It's gonna be the same as the height of our window, so we can say window.innerHeight, and we're gonna do same for width. So the width is going to be the inner width of our window, so we can say width equals to window.innerWidth. Okay, we don't have to say style. As you can see, now the canvas is the full width of our window, but we have some scrolling area. So what we can say is remove the margin and padding from the body, so we can say style. We are gonna target everything and say margin to 0 and padding to 0. And now we don't have the extra space. Okay, we can remove the black background here. Now we're gonna keep track of all the balls that will generate when mouse is moved, so we can say let's say let balls equals to, for now it's gonna be an empty array. We'll populate it with some objects once the user moves the mouse. So let's create a draw function that will draw the balls. So function draw, let's call it render, and this will loop through all the balls. So we can say for let I equals to 0, I is less than balls dot length, I plus plus, and we're gonna, for each of the balls we're gonna call that draw function. So we can say, and we're gonna pass the ball object, so we can say balls I. So now we need the draw function, so we can say function draw. This will take a ball and we have to draw the ball on the canvas. So first we have to get the context of canvas in order to draw something, so we can say const ctx equals to canvas.getContext, and we're going to say 2D because for now canvas only supports 2D rendering. Let's try to console log the context for now, so we can say console.log, and now if you open up the console, we'll see we get the canvas rendering object. Okay, so we can remove this. Now we have to draw the ball, so we are gonna use the arc method. So first we have to set the fill color of the canvas. We can do that by saying ctx.fill_style equals to red, and then we're gonna say context.arc. Arc is used to create the circle. It takes some arguments, that is the x and y coordinate, that will be the ball.x and ball.y, and a radius, so for example 5, and the starting angle, that can be 0, and ending angle, we want it to be a full circle, so we're going to say math.pi times 2, that will give us full 360 degree circle. And we can say if it needs to rotate counterclockwise or not, so we can say false. And finally we have to say fill, ctx.fill. Okay, let's try to add a ball manually and see if it works. So we can say x equals to 100 and y equals to 100. Okay, let's see what happened. Okay, we have to call the render function. Let's look at the console. Okay, ctx is not defined. Let's see. Okay, we accidentally deleted the ctx instead of console log, so we can say let ctx equals to canvas.getContext, and it will be 2D. And as you can see, now we can see a ball. So now what we have to do is, once the user moves his mouse, we have to populate the balls array with balls that will have xy same as the mouse cursor. Okay, let's do that. So we can say window.addEventListener, and we're gonna listen for the mouse move event. So every time the user moves his mouse or cursor, we want to populate a new ball. So we can say balls.push, and we have to push an object that will have the x same as the x of the cursor. So we can say e.clientx, and the y will be e.clientY. Okay, and finally let's console log the balls to see what we're doing. Now let's open up our console, and as you can see, as we move our mouse, the ball object is populated with arrays. Okay, but the balls are not drawn here because we are only calling the render function once, and when we are calling it, the balls are initially empty, so we have to keep calling the render function. To do that, we can use a animation frame, so we can simply say request animation frame and simply pass the render function here. Okay, now let's see what happens. As you can see, as we move our mouse, okay, this is not what we desired because the path is always connected. So basically what we can do is, for each ball we have to create a new path. So we can simply say ctx.beginPath, and after drawing the circle we have to close the path. So we can say ctx.closePath. Okay, now let's see what happens. Okay, now it's kind of working, but they are not moving, so we have to animate them. So we are also going to call the animate functions. So we can say animate. This will also take a ball, so we can say balls I. Now let's create the animate function. So we can say function animate, this will take a ball, and we can simply say ball dot y plus plus. So we are basically moving the ball downwards. So let's see what happens. Okay, we can see something is not right. Basically every time we draw a frame we have to clear the canvas. So what we can say is ctx dot clear rect this takes 4 arguments, this starting xy coordinates, so that will be 0 0, and the ending coordinates, that will be our inner width and inner height. So we can say window dot inner width and window dot inner height. Okay, now let's see what happens. As you can see, this is kind of what we want, but every circle is now moving at the same velocity. This does not look good. So what we can do is give every of them a random velocity. So we can also say something like vy for y velocity. That can be something like math dot random times 3 plus 2. So basically this will give us a random number between 2 to 5. Okay, let's see. Now in the animate function, instead of just increasing the y value by 1, we have to increase the value by the y velocity. So we can say ball dot vy, and as you can see, now the balls are falling in random velocity, but in our case the balls were leaving a trail instead of simply just falling. To do that, instead of using the fill rect, so let's comment it out, we have to use the clear rect function. So first we have to say the clear color, so we can say ctx dot fill style. The fill style will be a light white color with a lot of transparency, so we can say RGBA, and it will be 255 255 255 and only 10% opacity, so 0.1. And then instead of clear rect, we're gonna say ctx dot fill rect, and it will take the same arguments as the clear rect. So just copy this, and now as you can see, we are getting the desired effect. So okay guys, that's gonna be it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, toss a like, it will help me a lot, and you can leave your tutorial suggestions in the comments and I'll try to make them as soon as possible.